The night air was thick with tension and the smell of smoke, and the streets of the city were eerily quiet, save for the distant sirens that wailed like cries for help. Emma Harper had always believed she could handle anything. She was strong, independent, and fearless, but nothing in her life had prepared her for the moment that would change everything. She had just finished her late shift at the local hospital, the one where she volunteered to help the injured and the overlooked, and she was walking home under the dim glow of streetlights when a sudden scream pierced the silence. Without thinking, she followed the sound, heart pounding, and stumbled upon a scene that made her blood run cold. A young soldier, his uniform torn and smeared with blood, was struggling to fend off a group of men who had cornered him in an alley. Emma didn't know him. She didn't know why they were attacking him, but something inside her snapped. She ran forward, heart in her throat, and pushed one of the attackers away. Before she could react, a blade slashed across her side. She gasped, pain shooting through her body, but she didn't stop. She shielded the soldier with every ounce of strength she had, feeling 7 sharp stabs cut through her, leaving her vision blurred and her legs threatening to give out. She felt every heartbeat like a hammer against her chest, but she couldn't let go. She couldn't let him fall. By the time the attackers fled, Emma was collapsing, blood soaking through her clothes, but the soldier she had saved, James Miller, was alive, trembling, and looking at her with wide, haunted eyes. Someone had called for help, and the next thing she knew, paramedics arrived, lifting her onto a stretcher as the alley faded into a blur of flashing lights and urgent voices. Lying in the hospital bed later that night, bandaged and barely conscious, Emma couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. She had risked everything for a stranger she barely knew. She had given her all for someone who would never even know her name. If you believe in acts of courage, in kindness, and in second chances, go ahead and like this video, comment below, share it with someone who needs hope, and tell us where you're watching from. Emma's life became a slow, painful recovery. Every day was a battle to regain her strength, to heal not just the physical wounds but the deep emotional scars left by the attack. She kept thinking about James, wondering how he was doing, and whether her sacrifice had truly mattered. She refused to be bitter, even when the pain threatened to consume her. She spent hours in physiotherapy, each movement excruciating, but each small victory, a lifted hand, a step forward, a deep breath without sharp pain, reminded her that she was still alive and that her fight was not over. Meanwhile, James couldn't stop thinking about her either. He had never met anyone like Emma. In the chaos of that alley, she had been his guardian angel, a stranger who had faced unimaginable danger to save his life. He wanted to find her, to thank her, but he didn't know how. The war had taken much from him, but it had also taught him that some acts of bravery, some people, leave an indelible mark that never fades. The next morning, while Emma was still trying to gather the courage to leave her hospital bed, there was a firm, unexpected knock at her apartment door. She hesitated, unsure if she was strong enough to face the world again, let alone strangers at her door. When she opened it, she found a group of Marines standing there, serious but respectful, their eyes filled with gratitude. They introduced themselves as comrades of James, explaining that he had survived because of her bravery, and that they had come to personally thank her. She had never imagined that her small act of courage would ripple out in such a monumental way, touching lives she would never have thought possible. In the following days, Emma learned more about James and the sacrifices he had made for his country. She realized that heroism doesn't always come in the form of medals or recognition. It comes in the quiet moments when someone chooses to act, even when the odds are stacked against them. And Emma had acted. She had made a difference. The Marines stayed in touch, visiting occasionally, bringing stories of courage, hope, and the unbreakable bonds formed in the line of duty. Emma found herself inspired, her world slowly transforming from pain into purpose. Months later, as she walked through the park near her apartment, Emma saw James again, walking with a cautious but genuine smile. Their eyes met, and without a word, they both knew that life had brought them together not by accident, but through a chain of courage, kindness, and selflessness. Emma's heart swelled, realizing that bravery, even when unseen, changes the world in ways we cannot measure. Her injuries had healed, but the impact of her actions, and the lessons she had learned about love, sacrifice, and human connection, would stay with her forever. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and don't forget to comment below to tell us how it made you feel. Your engagement helps spread stories of courage and kindness to the world. Before the story ends, take a moment to comment. Just a line about what you think courage really means, or how a single act of kindness can change a life. Emma's story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, one brave choice can create ripples far beyond what we can ever imagine. Emma Harper's bravery, the soldier's survival, and the Marine's gratitude created a legacy of human resilience that would inspire countless others. In the quiet, unremarkable corners of the world, ordinary people like Emma are performing extraordinary acts of courage every day, showing that hope, kindness, and the willingness to act for others can truly make the world a better place.